Well, we finally have an update on Taylor Swift's Baldoni arrest story that was going around the internet. We got some clarity on that. We have Emma Watson, who is clapping back at JK Rowling for the transphobic comments. And there's a new trend going on TikTok with pregnant women and Tylenol. We're going to talk about it. Let's dive in. This is No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, serve fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. What's up, guys? Welcome on in, everybody in the club. What's going on? I hope you guys are having a great Thursday. I know today's episode is a little later than usual. I've been getting some dental work done, so I had to go in for a cleaning today. I'm getting an extraction next week. We're doing a whole thing. We're still working on my teeth. Still trying to bring out the pearly whites. Ha ha ha. But hopefully you guys have been having a good week so far. Love you and appreciate you. Lots to dive into today, too. We're finally getting a little more clarity on that Taylor Swift story about the arrest and all the drama. But my goodness, what a day, what a week, all the things. I feel like did you guys see the story about Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck's daughter? And she's like going to the UN and she like wants to bring back mask mandates. And everybody's like, girl, go home. Like, this is not how we use nepotism. If we're going to use it, we're going to cast you in a movie. We're not going to use it to like let you give a speech at the UN to talk about why we need to bring back a mask mandate. No, thank you. Thank you. Come again. Megan Elise says your last few episodes have been really amazing. Have been amazing. So inspired by you. Thank you. I'm glad that the episodes have been resonating. I feel like they've either been a real hit or a real miss for some people. Some people have not been happy with the new coverage. Some people have been upset or triggered by it, or they feel like I'm not being fair in my coverage. I feel like I've been very fair. I've been very honest. I've been very open, and I've been very #no filter, which is what this show was. It's what this show has always been. It's what this show will continue to be. I don't think that I have gotten more political lately. If you are new, then you would know that there have always been political undertones that have dipped into the podcast in the past. I mean, in No Filter's first year, 2015, covered a number of different political topics. Even the 2016 election, I covered that heavily. I partnered with Rock the Vote back in 2016 and did episodes that were dedicated to the election. And I did episodes that were strictly dedicated to supporting Hillary and episodes that were strictly dedicated to supporting Trump, so that people, my position was always, I want people to have access to all of the information so that they can come to their conclusion on their own. And I know sometimes I hear the argument about like, well, why don't you call out this side more often than that side? And I'm like, well, because one, that side doesn't have as much as this side does. And not only that, but this side has already been super critical of that side, that's the noise and the chatter that's been going around. And so, I tried to keep it even keeled to the best of my ability. It's been really nice, though. I feel like I've been building some really solid, genuine relationships and friendships, both with people virtually, but also people here in Los Angeles. I'm surprised at how many people, because I've talked to you guys about like how once you become a little more open and outspoken, you go to these events and people don't want to look at you. They don't want to talk to you. They'll give you the cold shoulder. They'll turn the other cheek. And it's not an easy weight to carry, but I would rather carry the weight of being honest and standing in my morals and my values and being, having integrity behind who I know I am, rather than fake pandering or, this virtue signaling or any of that bullshit that Hollywood and Hollywood and LA like to operate within. So I'm just going to do me as my podcast. This isn't Blake Lively Weekly. This isn't Real Housewives Daily News. It's not, that's not what the show's called. The show's called No Filter with Zack Peter, and it's going to remain No Filter with a Zack Peter. That's not me. Oh, so, but it has been nice. And I have to actually say too, I've really appreciated the relationship. I always felt like it was hard to build relationships with gay men. especially in Los Angeles. You have like the WeHo gays, and those are very much, the circuit queens, and they pop pills and they go to the Abbey and they're like getting drunk down the Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood all the time. And they're, sleeping with each other's boyfriends. And it's just, and they're homie hopping and doing all the things. Right. And I never fit in with that crowd. And that crowd never really seemed to like they're all super, pretty with Botox and abs and steroids and, popping pills at nightclubs. And I never fit into that world, and I often felt like it was hard to make genuine relationships and friendships with gay men, especially here in Los Angeles, because if you don't look a certain way, if you don't act a certain way, if you don't imbibe on certain substances, you don't fit in with the crew. And even now there's like this new like sober gays that they pop pills but they're not drinking anymore. And even like it's very cliquey. But what I love is that by being more open, by being more unfiltered and being more of myself unapologetically, I've attracted so many really quality, gay men that I feel like have felt like they've been shoved back into the closet because they can't be open about what their real views are without being persecuted by their fellow gays. And it's fine. They can, I support their decision to bite their tongue and not be vocal and not be open because they don't want to be ostracized by other people in this community. But I will say it's the right-leaning, center-leaning gays that tend to be a lot more open and inclusive than the super liberal gays. And the super liberal ones are super culty and super mean, and they will ice you out and they will cut you off. And it was isolating and it was ostracizing and it was hurtful for a very long time. And now I feel like I'm finding my community, not just the gays, but like I'm just using that in particular because I feel like there's people are like, what? Gays can be non-super left-leaning? Like they can be in the middle? They can be moderates? What? Homocons are a thing? Yeah, I don't know why I felt the need to share that, but I was just like, I've been making some really good quality connections lately, and I've really appreciated that. I feel like my tribe has come, and I appreciate you guys that are still here. Russ says, but you are pretty with Botox. Thank you. I feel a little tired. I need to get my Botox touched up, but thank you, Russ. I appreciate that. Why do people have to be put in a box? I agree, Joy. Don't put me in a box. But that's how our brains work in this world. We have to put people in boxes. Otherwise, if they don't fit in a box, then we don't know how to make sense of them. Julie D says, I'm so happy that I'm part of your community. I just love you. I love you too. As Kamala Harris would say, I love you back in a Hispanic accent. I love you back. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You better thank a union worker. You better thank a union member. And those are all the fun Kamala acts. Oh, I miss when she was running for president because we just had so much fun trolling her. Now she's on her book tour. What a time. Okay, let's take a quick ad break and then let's get into the Taylor Swift of it all. The Emma Watson, she was just on Jay Shetty's podcast and I thought that was really good. I enjoyed it. And then this crazy coconut TikTok trend that these crazy ladies on TikTok are doing with the Tylenol. I can't. And we'll get into whether or not these news stories about them being hospitalized are real or not real or whatever. But real quick, let's take a break. All right, listen up. Fall is here. And with it comes back to school rush, right? Early morning drop-offs, after school activities, football games, those last-minute supply runs. And let's not forget the extra trips to the grocery stores, coffee, and gas as the days get busier. It all adds up so fast. But with the free Upside app, there's an easy way to earn real cash back every time you fill up your tank, grab a bite to eat, or stock up on essentials. Okay, I'm telling you right now, I just downloaded it. I went to Zinke here in downtown. It's one of my favorite go-tos, and I found them on the Upside app. I was like, ooh, what restaurants are around here? Where can I eat and get some money back? And I was like, oh, what? Zinke? My go-to is on here. Not only that, they have 6% cash back. 6% cash back. I mean, I go there so often. I mean, hello, the savings are endless. Am I right? The free Upside app gets you cash back on daily essentials like gas, grocery, and dining. And there are over 100,000 gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants on the Upside app, ensuring the cash back is always just around the corner. And yes, it is real cash back. No confusing rewards or points or credits, just actual money that you can transfer straight to your bank account, right? Claim an offer for what you're buying on Upside, then pay as you usually do with a credit or debit card, follow the steps in the app, and get paid. People can earn 3 times more cash back with Upside than any other product. This includes loyalty programs and credit card rewards. I'm telling you, this is the app. I love the Upside app because I get to save on all of my favorite purchases. Upside has given back $1 billion to its users. To find out how much you could earn, download the free Upside app and use the promo code NOFILTER to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas with the Upside app. Use promo code NOFILTER. Listen up, because DraftKings Casino has your playbook for gaming action all season long. Play thousands of popular slots for a shot at jackpots. Over $400 million has already been awarded, okay? New players get 500 spins on Huff and More Puff over 10 days. Download the app and use code NOFILTER to claim your spins after your first $5 wager. Get in the game with DraftKings Casino, home of the largest jackpot win in online casino history. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, void in Ontario. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Non-withdrawable casino spins issued as 50 spins per day for 10 days, valid for featured game only, and expire each day after 24 hours. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Promo ends October 5th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Listen, I still love a good night out, but I'm not always in the mood to drink anymore. Luckily, I found a great alternative, and that's Sol's Out of Office Gummies. They give you that same light, happy buzz without the hangover. There's no sugar, and you're definitely not left with an awkward next morning. Sol is a wellness brand that believes feeling good should be fun and easy. Sol specializes in delicious hemp-derived THC and CBD products designed to boost your mood and help you unwind. Their best-selling Out of Office Gummies were designed to provide a mild, relaxing buzz, boost your mood, and enhance creativity and relaxation. With 5 different strains, you can tailor the dose to fit your vibe, from a gentle 1.5 milligram microdose to their newest 15 milligram gummy for a more elevated experience. You know what I'm saying? I love a good vibe. I love a good, whether it's an evening or it's a weekend, especially in the summer, bring on the good vibes and treat yourself to Sol today. Right now, Sol is offering my audience, that's you right now, listening or watching this, 30% off your entire order. That's 30% off. Go to getsol.com and use the code NOFILTER. That's getsol, S-O-U-L, getsol.com, and use the promo code NOFILTER for 30% off. Alrighty. I see Colette is asking, is it true that Sheena is out of the Valley? From what I understand, Sheena's supposed to be making an announcement on her podcast this week, and she'll be addressing it. But I do believe that she will not be in the Valley this season. I mean, I think Lala will be on the Valley. We've seen Lala filming with the cast, and she's been at a number of different events with the cast. Sheena, on the other hand, has not been. So, oh no, guys, it doesn't look good for Sheena on the Valley. It seems like something kind of fell through. But I do not believe that Sheena will be on season 3 of The Valley at all. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. And also, we just need to give some love and shout out to our incredible mod in the live chat right now, Christina. We love you, Christina. Appreciate you. She's keeping the live chat strong, keeping it friendly, making sure you guys get all the links, like the link to sign up for our membership or No Filter All Access. Remember, guys, you have 5 days left to sign up for No Filter All Access. You get ad-free episodes plus bonus episodes right now at nofilterwithzack.com. You can go to sign up for No Filter All Access via Supercast at nofilterwithzack.com. You can watch the Zactivated tour. You have so many fun bonus episodes and content that you can imbibe on there. And if you get fully Zactivated, you will be part of our book club. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. Colette says Jay Shetty is a fraud. Do some research. Okay, well then let's talk about the Jay Shetty of it all, right? Jay Shetty and Emma Watson. I know people think that Jay Shetty is a fraud. I also like to question or challenge people's mentality with that and think of, these people that the media has branded to be fraudulent and think of what they're offering, right? What are they offering? Oh, they're offering a different level of consciousness. They're offering, a new way of thinking. They're offering a non-combative approach to the world and politics. And that, I think, is threatening to our divisive culture. So I think we're intentionally led to believe that pillars like Jay Shetty are frauds, right? And I've seen some of the stuff about him, and he recycles memes and doesn't credit them, and then he charges courses, and his courses are really expensive. Listen, I appreciate Jay Shetty for the messages that he puts out there. I think they're positive and uplifting. I think his podcast is very beneficial. I think he has very real, raw, deep conversations with people, and I do think he wakes people up, and I do think he's part of this shift in collective consciousness that I think is really powerful right now. And I think that listen, don't fall for what you believe to be the fraud. I think you're an intelligent person with a brain of your own. And if you don't want to buy his course, then don't invest in his course. There are plenty of other things that you can do. I think somebody that's just giving you helpful, motivational, uplifting content, take it for what it is, take it with a grain of salt, and, don't invest in the things that don't align with who you are and what you want. I think you are intelligent people. Colette, I think you are an intelligent woman or hopefully I'm not misgendering you, but your name is Colette. Yeah, it is interesting. My barista, I got coffee today. I don't know which pronouns to use, but my barista's name was Chloe, but Chloe had a beard. And I was like, oh, and Chloe also had hairy legs. And I was like, oh, and I was like, I don't know how Chloe identifies except being Chloe. But what does Chloe mean? Like, I've never met a Chloe with a beard before, you know? I felt like that song, My Name is Pink and It's Really Nice to Meet Ya. So, but yeah, take Jay Shetty's info for what you want and don't for what you don't. So yeah. Joy says, I see people in chats that are so hateful. If you don't like the show, leave. That's why I love Zack. He is honest. Yeah, I mean, listen, people love to come into live chat and say mean, crazy things. And I think they do that to get, a reaction out of people. I came across a Reddit post. Listen, I try my best to put out information and content that is thought provoking and can maybe shift your level of, awareness on a certain topic. I actually just saw a comment. I want to shout it out. It was a comment on YouTube on yesterday's episode. It's by Mary G5E7X. And Mary said, Zack, I love you so much. I've been so ignorant about certain things, and I cannot thank you enough for bringing awareness to things I should have asked questions about a long time ago. And for that, I'm so sorry. And I love that, because that's kind of my intention, not to be a fraud like Jay Shetty, but my intention is to hopefully introduce you to new information, not to say that I'm right, not to say that I'm an expert or I'm the authority on things. My job is to be a commentator, not an authoritarian. So don't come to me because you trust my word over any other person that's a real expert out there. I just hope that you come and can listen with an open ear and an open heart, and I can make you laugh at the same time. And that's also part of the content that I put out there. I know I've told you guys that my background is, or I used to do stand-up prior to doing the podcast. And, I love making people laugh. I love using humor to get through hard times. I love, trying to bring people together with levity and laughter rather than polarization. I try not to be polarizing. I know I'm human and I can definitely fan the flames sometimes, but I did come across a really interesting Reddit post, and it inspired an interesting conversation last night. And somebody made a post. I don't even remember the username or anything, but they made this post about a video that I had posted on Instagram and I think on TikTok too about sobriety. And it was kind of just like a joke where I was saying that like sober people have become the new vegans, right? They never shut up about being vegan. They never shut up about being sober. And it's like, I love your sober journey. I support your sober journey. But also at the same time, I don't need it to be your entire identity where all we talk about is you're sober and you don't get hangovers anymore and your face isn't puffy anymore and you feel so great. And I'm just like, oh my God, you're insufferable. And so I was, I made a funny satirical video about it. It was just like a rant about like being like, can sober people stop talking about always being sober? And somebody on the internet without a profile picture decided to weaponize that and say, oh, look at Zack. He's knocking on sober people and knocking on sobriety while also telling Brittany Cartwright that the autism moms will sit and have wine with you. So he's knocking sobriety while encouraging moms to get drunk, or something to that effect. And then they were like, it's so interesting. His friend Jeff had gone sober last year. And I guess, Jeff was very open about that last year when he decided to, you know, become sober, or go on that sobriety journey, which he didn't shove it in people's faces. He wasn't like he didn't make it his entire identity. He was not somebody that I was referencing in that video. So much so that you wouldn't even really know that Jeff was sober because, he was just still Jeff. And so Jeff is my friend that passed away a few weeks ago. And I want to be very clear, he did not pass away. That did not have, I don't believe that it correlated with his sobriety. But the comment that they made, they're like, oh, well, I know his friend Jeff was on his sobriety journey. Maybe if Zack was a better friend and supported that sobriety journey, maybe he would still be here today. And I was like, wow. And I think the place that I'm in now, in comparison to maybe the place that I had been before, I think that would have affected me and would have hurt me on a much deeper level. And it doesn't, I feel like I've become so detached from the things that people say about me online now that I can see a comment like that and be like, wow, that is a really evil person that just needs to project hatred out there because, they are clearly unhappy in their own lives. And I can look at that and recognize that there was venom in that comment while also not allowing that venom to sting me the way that it has been. And I know I said this on the show the other day that I've been so, you know, I've gone through so much in the last 6 years and even in just the last couple of months that these things don't affect me the way that they used to. And there's like a place of, I guess, empowerment in that, where I can look at that and recognize the darkness in that while also not allowing it to, be a damper on the light that I try to be and the light that I try to put out into this world. And I don't know why I brought that or what triggered me to bring that up, but I guess it's, I guess because the negative feedback doesn't matter. I've been getting a lot of feedback in my DMs and my comments. So many friends have been calling, or not so many, but there are a number of people that have called me over the last 3 days and we're like, well, let's talk about what you posted. Let's talk about Charlie Kirk. Let's talk about Kimmel. Let's talk about Tylenol. And I'm just like, okay, let's have this conversation. Let's just respect. Sometimes we have different perspectives. And I do love that we've shifted. The show just feels like it's grown and it's evolved and it's become a little deeper. The no filter has really kind of extended a bit more. But yeah, I mean, listen, I appreciate everyone that's like, oh my God, I'm sorry about that Reddit comment. Listen, we also forget that we were literally just in an era where people were laughing about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. That's the evil that exists in this world right now. And we just have to see it for what it is and not allow it to penetrate our peace, right? Which comes into the Emma Watson interview. And she talks about this in her Shetty interview, where she said, like, if there's anything that costs me my peace, it's too expensive and it's not worth, giving it the time of day anymore. And I think that that's really powerful. I know Taylor Swift said something like that recently in her, what was it, the Travis Kelce interview? That was a comment that she had made about how, there can be a headline with her name in it and it still has nothing to do with her. And I really liked Emma Watson's interview. It was it was like over 2 hours. It's like almost 2.5 hours with Shetty. And it was very long and, it was very like in-depth and spiritual and self-reflective and all those things. But I also found it to be incredibly, genuine and real. And it felt like she had come out of her bubble of Hollywood and had really just grounded herself onto such a human level. So I do recommend you listen to it. It is very long. Okay. It's 2.5 hours. I would recommend putting it on, I put mine on 1.5 speed. But in it, she addresses her fallout with JK Rowling. And for those that um may be unfamiliar, JK Rowling has made a number of comments that a lot of people have deemed transphobic, because she says that, I know the trans issue has become incredibly, I think it's incredibly nuanced, but I also know it's incredibly polarizing for a lot of people. And I know JK Rowling has spoken out, and her position is, she's experienced assault from men in the past, and for that reason, she has concerns over trans women being allowed into women's spaces. And I know Daniel Radcliffe, who played Harry Potter, and Emma Watson, who played Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter series, they both came out, and I believe even Rupert, who played Ron Weasley, I think he also came out. I think all three of them came out with a number of other stars, and I know, like, what is her name? Bohemian Rhapsody. What's her name? Bohemian Cohen something. There have been cast members that have come out, and they've been kind of split in terms of most of them are like, we don't stand with JK Rowling in her position on, trans people. We believe trans women are women. And, they've had their firm stance, and JK Rowling, I think, came out and she said that, celebs coming out and, what was her exact quote? Let me see if I think I have it right here. And I appreciated Emma's response to all of this. So this is what JK Rowling said. She said, the idea of women like me who have been empathetic to trans people for decades, feeling kinship because they're vulnerable in the same way as women, i.e., to male violence, hate trans people because they think sex is real and have lived consequences is nonsense. She says, I respect every trans person's right to live in any way that feels authentic and comfortable to them. I'd march with you if you were discriminated against on the basis of being trans. At the same time, my life has been shaped by being female, and I do not believe it's hateful to say so. And then Emma Watson clapped back at her, and she says, trans people are who they say that they are and deserve to live lives without being constantly questioned or told that they aren't who they say they are. I want my trans followers to know that I and so many other people around the world see you, respect you, and love you for who you are. And so they've kind of gone back and forth. And Daniel Radcliffe also released a statement saying transgender women are women. Any statement to the contrary erases the identity and dignity of transgender people and goes against all advice given by professional healthcare associations who have far more expertise on the subject and the subject matter than either Joe or I. And then JK Rowling said that she has no interest in getting apologies from them. They can save their apologies, that, celebs that jump on that bandwagon essentially, to try and make some sort of social movement that also can hurt women in the long run. It's just an issue that they've been very divided on. But, Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson, two prominent actors that came out of the Harry Potter series who have kind of condemned JK Rowling for her position on things. And my understanding of JK Rowling's position is not that she's against trans people, but she's about protecting women. And that's where I think there's nuance within this conversation, right? Is that I understand there are biological women that were born female that do feel, like they're like women in trans women in women's sports. Like, I think that there are all of these different pieces that, again, it's a much bigger and nuanced conversation. I don't believe that JK Rowling is transphobic as she's been labeled in the press because of the viewpoints that she has. And I understand that they come from a real vulnerable place of her feeling disrespected or harmed in some way by men as a woman, right? And so I think that there's just a little more nuance to that conversation. But what I love about Emma Watson is in this interview, Jay Shetty asked, he's like, what do you think? She says that there's not really a place for forgiveness for you guys because you're, feeding into what appears to be a celebrity social campaign without just listening to where she's at. And what I liked about it is Emma was like, listen, She said, "I will never believe that one negates the other and that my experience of that person I don't get to keep or cherish." And so, or sorry, the full quote is, "I really don't believe that by having had that experience in Harry Potter and holding the love and support and views that I have means that I can't and don't treasure Joe and the person that I had personal experiences with. I will never believe that one negates the other. And my experience of that person, I don't get to keep and cherish. I think it's my deepest wish that I hope people who don't agree with my opinion will love me. And I hope that I can keep loving people who I don't necessarily share the same opinion with. I really do believe in having conversations and that those are really important. I guess where I've landed is it's not so much what we say or what we believe, but very often how we say it. And so, I think she did say, I just see this world right now where we seem to be given permission for throwing out of people or that people are disposable. I will always think that that's wrong. I believe that no one is disposable and everyone, no matter the conversation, should and can be treated with, at the very least, dignity and respect. I like this. And I think this is a better message than the message that JK Rowling or Joe is putting out there, because I think Joe's like, if you don't agree with me, I'm cutting you off and there's no forgiveness and there's no allowance for that. Rather than, I think Emma Watson's coming at this from a place of like, listen, I may not agree with her, but that doesn't mean that my experiences with her are negated. That doesn't mean that they are diminished in any way. That doesn't mean that the love that I had for her suddenly disappears or goes away. And I think that's a really powerful message to be putting out in our world, especially right now, considering we are kind of in this polarized place, right? Where we think if you don't agree with me, if you don't see eye to eye to me, you're cut off. I'm going to ostracize you. I'm going to be done with you. I'm going to move on from you. And I think Emma is showing up with active love and saying, listen, there was never a conversation that we had, and I would love to have that conversation with her because I still love her, and that love doesn't just go away. And I think that's such a powerful mission. It's very similar to Erica Kirk at her husband's memorial, going out there and saying that she forgives Tyler Robinson, the man that shot and killed her husband. Sorry, I know that's a controversial statement because there's some conspiracy theories out there. But regardless, Erica went on stage and gave that message of forgiveness. And I think that those are empowering, important, and powerful messages to be putting out right now, is that we don't have to cut people off. We can disagree with them. Even just last night, I went out for a drink with a friend, and I understand his line of work. I understand where he stands on a lot of issues. And, he would kind of nudge and bring up like Tylenol and RFK, or, Kimmel or Charlie Kirk. And I would kind of just like nod and be like, yeah, I get that. I hear you. Sometimes you don't need to have those conversations. You can just allow somebody to feel what they feel and have their perspective and understand and know where that perspective comes from, and just let that be. Not everything needs to turn into a fight. Not everything needs to turn into a debate. And we can just see each other and be like, yeah, I get where you're coming from. I disagree. I don't need to say I disagree out loud, but I can just hold space and allow you to vent and share that opinion and not fault you for it. Michelle says, that's how I feel when I listen here. Michelle's like, I just let you rant about your crazy shit. I just let you go crazy over there in that corner. Agree to disagree. But see, Jane, here's the thing. Sometimes you don't even need to agree to disagree. You can just let it be, you know? There doesn't even need to be a conversation where you're like, we agree to disagree. You can just be like, I love you. End of story. And I actually made a new friend. We met via DM, and we've been chatting a bit recently, and we were voice noting today, and have developed a friendship and are going to hang out soon. But, I was just telling him, I was like, I love this conversation that we're having, because for me, more than I want to sit here and have a conversation about Tylenol, the real conversation is I want to get to know you and how you came to this conclusion. Like for me, people think that I support RFK Jr. because I don't know, I've been red pilled and I'm a crazy MAGA supporter, right? Whereas that's the complete opposite of it. It's like, no, actually, if you know my story, if you know my history, the line of work that I came from, my experience with my family and my brother, then like you'll know how I came to the decision that I came to support RFK Jr., which ultimately led to my vote for Trump, which was a very difficult decision for me to make. And for a minute made me feel like I was compromising a part of myself to make a decision like that. And And now I'm not afraid to say that, and I'm unapologetic about that because I made the best choice that I could in that moment, given my past experiences and the future that I wanted to invest in, right? And I know not everybody agrees with that or understands that, but I think by getting to know people and understanding where they're coming from, I think that that's how we can then see, oh, we can just disagree, right? Someone said in the comments, we listen and we don't judge. No, we listen and we don't judge, dot, 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 out loud. you know? LCS says exactly, Zach. We all come from lived experience and baggage, and there's always purpose for people. We just have to ask and listen without offense. And sometimes we don't even need to ask and listen. We can just respect, right? I don't need to, yes, there are certain times where you should understand people and where they're coming from. And I think those are the conversations that are more important. But sometimes when you have these issues that are right in front of you, you can just be like, yeah, I'll let you share your political rant. I'll let you go off about this or that and not judge you for that and just be like, I hear you. That was one thing that a friend of mine had recently. She's like, I don't like to get into those conversations with people. She's like, I just let people talk and I say, I hear you. I hear you. She's like, because I have ears and I hear you. I don't agree and I'm not going to disagree with you, but I hear you. And I was like, wow, that's powerful. So if you have a minute to listen to Emma Watson's interview with Jay Shetty, I recommend it. It's actually a good one. Um, Hi, citizen journalist. She said, "Scroll and roll is my motto." Exactly. um, Michelle says, and this is exactly why I encourage you to have differing views, come on and have those conversations. I enjoy hearing both sides. That's the only way to make progress. I do agree with you, but the reason I tend to have people that are maybe a bit more moderate or conservative on the show when I have those conversations is because we're so oversaturated with accessibility to people that tend to be a little more left leaning in the entertainment Hollywood world. And so I kind of want to provide that additional voice and bring that additional voice to the table. And also, like, there's a reason I had Sean and David come on the podcast, right? David Leon and Sean on the right. I had them come on because I was like, they're gay people and they voted for Trump. And like, they don't hate themselves, right? They're very kind, compassionate, loving people. They don't always agree with everything that Trump puts out into the world. But like, you can see that like, this is a different side that you're not often exposed to. You just think it's these white Christian extremist straight men or these, brainwashed women that are just baking in the kitchen all day. And those are the only people that are brainwashed into, voting for that man, when that's not the reality. Citizen Journal says, if you always live in an echo chamber, you can't have any intellectual growth. So Jordan Bach, who I followed for many, many years online, and it's funny, he just recently followed me back and we started DMing recently as well. And I've invited him on the podcast because we were just talking about growing up as, uh, gay men that were raised Catholic and how we've kind of gotten in touch again with our spirituality. And he posted something that said you should expose 20% of your timeline should expose you to people with a difference of viewpoints or perspectives, because that's how you grow. Expose at least 25%, so that way you're not living in an echo chamber. And I think people get really caught up in just only hearing other voices that validate them. Let's talk about Taylor Swift, and then we'll get into the TikTok of it all. So Taylor Swift, there was a story that came out saying that she had a agent that was hired to serve her with deposition papers from Justin Baldoni. This is a report that came out in Star Magazine, that she had this person arrested because he hopped into a gated community and then hopped over the fence of Travis Kelce's home when he tried to serve Taylor Swift, and it was about 2 a.m. in the morning. Well, my friend Lauren Knighty from the Court of Random Opinion, she was able to confirm that this was indeed a false, or well, not false, but that it wasn't a fully accurate reporting. And she dug into it to see, well, who was this guy? Why was he there? Was he really hired by Baldoni? And she was at least able to confirm that Baldoni's team did not send this person to serve Taylor Swift. So whether he is claiming that that was the reason he was there, that could very likely just be an unwell psycho stalker person that was trying to break in and is using that as an excuse, because Baldoni's team has communication with Swift's team, and they have had no issues with that in the past with scheduling depositions and all of that. There's been no issue there. So Taylor Swift, I don't think would need to be subpoenaed by some random person, especially not at like 2 a.m. So I don't know if this was a planted fake story or if this was just a crazy person that wanted to see Taylor Swift and thought that this would be a good opportunity or a good excuse to use. But it appears Baldoni did not hire or send this person to serve Taylor Swift. That is a debunked false story. So Russ Davis says Star Magazine should have been the first clue. Right. Well, but then TMZ also reported on it, which is what was so strange. And I trust me, I know people were looking at the police report. Shout out to Katie Inksey. She also tried to get her hands on the police report. She was like, people are really trying to dig into this and find out whether or not this was like a real thing. So they dug. They didn't find any issues, or they didn't find any correlation between Baldoni and this person that had, trespassed. So we can file that under low budget T. Mildly Mercurial says everyone want to Leslie Sloan. She's working overtime, slumming with the Star. I know that's the only, but it's just surprising. I mean, Star, I'm not surprised. I feel like Star is a bit more National Enquirer-y, but like TMZ even ran with it, and I was like, that's kind of crazy. Huh. Interesting. Did anyone see Jillian Michaels walked off the podcast? Her take, Jillian was the main host. And I guess she quit mid-podcast. Was Jillian... I thought Jillian was a guest on that podcast. I don't think she was a host. I don't know. I did see that clip. And she was on a podcast and they were asking her about, or they brought up the topic of Israel. And I guess there was like some dancing around the idea that maybe Israel was behind the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And Jillian Michaels got really upset about that. And she's just like, there's no evidence of that. And I told you I didn't want to talk about this. And you keep pushing this. And they're like, well, but, he got in an argument with, R2D2 or something. And I don't know. She was a panelist. Yeah. And she walked off because she was upset about it. I did see that. So, yeah. Brigitte says Kirsty showed a creator who went to the police and has documents proving that not even the name of the stalker is in the police report. And it was a fake link to Baldoni. Yes, I did see that. So, was it the one where she was slammed for adopting a black baby? So sad. Say what? No, I don't think that was the podcast. I didn't know she was slammed for that. There's a story out there that Lala has a form of cancer on her eye. Pray for her. Okay, well, if it's a story and she hasn't confirmed it, let's not put that out there that she has cancer in her eye. Okay, so that's the Taylor Swift Baldoni arrest update. That's the Emma Watson versus JK Rowling update. Let's talk about TikTok and Tylenol because this is bonkers to me. People have literally fallen out of a coconut tree. And as my friend Molly Dare would say, and hit every damn branch on the way down. On the way down. Oh, my goodness. So there are a number of pregnant women that have decided to go on the tickety talk in spite of Trump and RFK Jr. saying that, and let's be very clear what was said. They said that Tylenol could be a contributing factor to autism, right? They didn't say Tylenol causes autism. They did not say, because then I see people in my comments are like, I took Tylenol when I was pregnant and my baby didn't have autism. And I didn't take Tylenol during my second pregnancy and my baby did have autism. So what? And I'm just like, so nothing. Nobody said that Tylenol causes autism. That is a false statement. That is, not accurate at all. Nobody has claimed that Tylenol causes autism. They've just said that there was a study that came out of Harvard, in addition to a number of studies that have happened over the last several years that have connected a possible link to autism. And I don't believe it's Tylenol specifically, but the ingredient that's in Tylenol is what people are linking to. It's not Tylenol specifically. And so a lot of it comes down to the underlying root of the MTHFR gene mutation. I believe that's like the genetic component of what the theory is that the MTHFR gene mutation is kind of like the genetic susceptibility, and then Tylenol can, kind of increase the susceptibility because it's a little harsher for, a unborn baby. And then obviously there's a bigger conversation about like vaccines, and listen, it's a much bigger conversation than people are trying to reduce it to. So that's that's just what it is. But so people are now going out there and um drinking Tylenol. Pregnant women are drinking Tylenol despite the current administration, which is interesting. Um, it's also interesting to see how the media has been covering this. I know yesterday I showed the graphic with the 9 different studies that have kind of looked into this, um, that have looked into the possible connection between Tylenol and autism. And like I said, it's not Tylenol specifically, it's the use of, how do you pronounce acetaminophen? Acetam How do you pronounce this? Um, acetaminophen? Acetaminophen. There you go. That's how you say it. I'm sure I'll get dragged on Reddit for that. So acetaminophen is what they're saying is possibly linked to it, and Tylenol just happens to be, the drug that is most associated with it. So it's not Tylenol specifically. It's that specific ingredient. Acetaminophen. Yeah. Say that 5 times. Acetaminophen. 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 Zach, your pronunciation at first was so adorable. I'm like a 3rd grader learning to read. That's why I say don't take medical advice from me. I'm just a dumb podcaster. Doot doot. Acetaminophen. Joy says, I'm so sorry. Anyone who takes their medical advice from TikTok deserves what they get. Eating cinnamon and Tide Pods, you have to be stupid to listen to TikTok people. Well, it's not that people are listening. Well, listen, I'm TikTok people. I'm telling you not to listen. Don't take medical advice from me. I comment on things, but I'm not an expert by any means. I trust the experts, and the experts led us to this conclusion, which is why Trump and RFK decided to share this publicly. But because it came from Trump and RFK, people are like, I don't believe it because they're not smart. And I'm like, they didn't pull it out of their ass. They got it from Harvard. So, and not only that, but here are all the, I showed you yesterday, the 9 other studies that, explain it further. But not only that, but then we also have, it's so interesting because I've seen even these graphics going around, like this one right here from Reuters, where in 2013 they said too much Tylenol in pregnancy could affect development, and that was by Catherine Doyle, and that was published on November 22nd, 2013, where it read, their children seemed to have poorer motor skills than those whose mothers had taken the drug fewer times or not at all. Tylenol exposed kids also tended to start walking later, having poor communication and language skills, and more behavior problems. And so this is what Reuters was publishing back in 2013. And then in 2025, they say Trump links autism to Tylenol and vaccines, claims not backed by science. That was published on September 23rd, 2025. So it's just interesting how we then twist the information to now make you, be skeptical of it in 2025, when in 2013, this was something that we believed to be true. But now that it came out of Trump's administration, now we suddenly have the opposite of rose-colored glasses, where we're now just deliberately trying to be obtuse. So, interessante. Citizen journalist says, "Wow, receipts." Yeah, I love receipts. Which also, I'll just pull up the that culmination of the different studies that I shared on yesterday's show. That way, there's no it's all clear for you. You can see them here yet again. There's Mount Sinai, there's PubMed, there's some of them are articles, some of them are actual studies, pediatrics, and it's the acetaminophen. So, yeah, science, propaganda from Reuters. So, very shit tinted shades. There you go. But it's crazy to me that there are women that are now just out of spite chugging Tylenol because they're like, I'm going to stick it to Trump. I'm going to show him that this is, look at here. Let's do a share screen so that you can see that this is a real thing. Look at this lady. She is
28 weeks pregnant.
28 weeks
You know what I'm going to take? Some Tylenol, acetaminophen. It's going to work like a charm, and my baby won't have autism.
crazy. This is wackadoodle crazy. This is true TDS. It's crazy, you guys. Crazy. Oh my God, it says Zack Peter is live on X right now. I am. Wow. Oh, wow. Are there, 567 people watching on X right now? Why? Hi, guys, on X. FYI, taking too much over-the-counter medicine like acetaminophen can damage your liver. These drugs, even if available over the counter, people seem to have forgotten that. Yes, that's the other crazy thing. It's crazy that there could be a potential risk. That's kind of the conversation, is that there is a potential risk of, harming your baby in utero while you're taking these drugs, especially if you're taking too much of them and it's, causing liver damage. And the fact that women are completely disregarding any sort of potential risk. It's like, yeah, really? Do you, if Trump said, hey, don't eat sushi while pregnant, are you going to go and have a big old plate of sashimi just to spite him? Because snap, girlfriend, I'm going to do it like that. That's crazy. Brigitte says, exactly. That's stupid and damaging for your liver. Yup. Victoria says, I believe there could be a risk. Anything could be a risk. Exactly. So why take more risks? That's the whole point, right? Is there a reason she's taking the Tylenol, though? She's taking the Tylenol just to spite Trump. That's why. Tylenol actually, Tylenol can be damaging. Spoogs says, I can't believe you have an autistic member and you're defending this. I'm not defending this. I'm absolutely not defending this pregnant woman taking Tylenol. I'm saying don't do this. I'm saying the opposite of that. Do not do this. And also, that's incredibly fucking offensive to say, I can't believe you have a person with autism in your family and XYZ. Never say that. Okay. Let's be very clear of things where we should never say to people. Never say something like that. That is a truly nasty thing to say, that because don't ever use my brother like that. Let's be very clear. You can say a lot of shit about me. You can throw all the jabs that you want at me. Do not ever use my brother against me to make some political fucking brownie point. All right? I'm going to make that very clear right here and now. Don't ever do that. That is inappropriate and that's not okay. I share my brother with you guys because there's a piece of my heart that I'm trying to share. And for you to use that against me is completely disrespectful. Okay? I'm here putting out a message to say that pregnant women should not do this out of spite because it's dangerous, potentially dangerous for their children. Okay. Yeah, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle says our neurodiverse family members are not pawns at all. And the fact that I feel like that's another part of this lack of humanity that we have from people, that they feel the need to even I'm sorry. I want to remind everybody that's watching this, at the end of the day, I am still a real person. I am still a real human being with feelings, and my family is something that is very important to me. Okay. So I know it's very easy to sit there and go in the live chat and you type your little fat fingers to make a mean comment, because that's really easy because you can hit send and walk away from that. But you forget that there are other real people on the other side of these cameras. So when you put those things out there, you need to be mindful of the fact that there is a human being on the other side. Okay. Be mindful of that because it's completely inappropriate. That said, there's this, what appears to be maybe some misinformation going around. This one woman,
It's about.
She went online and she's basically saying that she had a friend that the husband reached out to her about his wife being in the ICU and it could potentially have liver damage because she was drinking Tylenol despite Trump. And so that's kind of something that has been floating around on the internet. I have not been able to verify or substantiate that is a real thing. I don't know who this woman is or who her friend may be that gave her this information, but also I've seen people in the comments that are like, wait a minute, this information came out less than 48 hours ago and suddenly she already has liver damage, So I don't know. The story in and of itself seemed a little crazy and off. So I don't know if it's a real story. And we also have to be mindful of like not getting too caught up in these sensationalized story, being like, oh my God, now pregnant women are ending up in the hospital because they're just drinking Tylenol. I don't believe that this has been a substantiated story as of yet. So we can file this story under low budget T. It does not appear that there are women in hospitals right now because they're suffering liver damage from drinking too much Tylenol to spite Trump. I don't think that that's the case. So be mindful of the stories that we're sharing, try to think them through, but stop drinking fucking Tylenol just to make a point for political brownie points, guys. Let's not do that. That's not very smart. That's dumb, Also, Christina, she said, my bad, I missed that comment. It's okay. Listen, Christina, you're a human too, and you're not going to catch every single comment. And that's okay. It's okay. I'm a big boy. I could do battle by myself. I can take on these comments. Elizabeth says, be respectful always. Thank you, Elizabeth 3G. Michelle says, you and I disagree on a lot, but we can still have these conversations and come at it as siblings of neurodiverse individuals. Never mess with another older sibling of a person with autism. Fuck around and find out. That's right, Michelle. That's right. Love Zack and the mods. Yes, we love the mods. Shout out to Christina. Hey. Laura's our other mod. I don't think she's able to come in tonight, but we love her too. We love Laura too. Lily from Plymouth says, first time in a live, love your show. All the way from London. Come over, Zack. We are waiting for you. I would love to come to London. I will at some point. Maybe next year. Remember when Zack didn't even have mods? I know. It was like the wild, wild west. Evil twin sister said, there's a warning on Tylenol packages about severe liver damage if you drink alcohol. Exactly. Remember when Tylenol had cyanide inside of it? Yeah. I'm a few minutes behind, y'all. Sorry. It's okay, Amanda. Welcome on in. Laura is the best. Yes, she is. Laura says the same chicks who are taking Tylenol are the same ones that shave their head. I don't know if they're the same ones that shave their head, because I believe the ones that shave their head were shaving their head like in solidarity of women and like were anti-men, so they weren't letting men impregnate them. These are now pregnant women that are just chugging Tylenol because why not? To prove that it's safe because they believe in science. Well, you know what else you should believe in? Warning labels. Okay, you should read those and believe in those as well. But I'm sure if Trump read you a warning label, you'd be like, nope, don't believe him. He's not an expert. Even if that warning label came directly from Tylenol themselves. Yeah. Chris says the possibility of jeopardizing your child's health in the womb or out is insane. I hope these mothers get some common sense. What does that say about you? Okay, well, it's not mom shame, but yes, I agree with you. Please update us on Brigitte Macron's coochie pic story. I don't know where the coochie picture is. Let's see. What's the latest on Brigitte Macron? Yeah. Candace Owens demands that Brigitte undergo explosive medical exam. Yeah, I don't think there's anything new as of yet. She said she's going to drop the coochie pictures, but I don't think the coochie pictures have been dropped just yet. Yeah, we'll see what happens. The lawsuit is ongoing. I would imagine that there will be a lot more to come. But yeah, Candace wants her to submit to a medical exam. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. If you ask me, I would have married Kate and Ashley. Okay. Hit the subscribe button, guys. If you're enjoying the show, we have lost a chunk of our audience, but I know that we're only gaining new members of this community. So if you would like to, if you're enjoying the show, then definitely hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and just let people know what you're enjoying about the show. You can also leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Let's see. Let's give an Apple Podcast review shout out so you guys can continue to keep leaving them because I appreciate them. Naomi Burton says, thank you for giving people a Tylenol forum. I hope anyone whose child developed autism due to Tylenol sues the company. Okay, well, first of all, Naomi, let's be very clear. We're not saying that Tylenol has caused autism or that, autism has developed due to Tylenol, but there are a number of factors, and Tylenol could be a contributing factor, just to be clear. We have Photo G Magab, who says, love spicy Zack. New listener, drawn here by the unfiltered and spicy Zack. I love that you're calling it how it is, period. Thank you. Catherine Zofia says, love you, Zack. 5 stars. You're my favorite podcast. Thanks for being real and funny. It's the best combo. Love ya, and thanks for the giggles. Yes, I'm not a housewife, but I am real. Tracy says, love you, Zack. 5 stars. Love you. You are so authentic and candid. Thank you for speaking about Charlie Kirk and being courageous in your views. I started listening earlier this year. Your takes are refreshing. Thank you, and keep it up. There are so many that appreciate you. Then we have, what is it? No nickname needed this time. Says, best pod ever. 5 stars. I love how real you are and how you maintain and stay true to yourself. The September 22nd, 2025 podcast was the best podcast episode I've ever listened to. And thank you for being yourself and being 100% with everyone, regardless of their feelings and beliefs. True freedom of speech is when we as a nation, society, and people can voice our opinions and beliefs to each other and still break bread at the end of the day. Absolutely. And then Fallon Fairy said, pushing people away, 2 stars. I've listened to Zack for a very long time, appreciating his candor and unique perspective. Yesterday's podcast, yesterday, I'm assuming that was the 22nd. Yesterday's podcast felt angry and hateful, like he was intentionally pushing his listeners away. I no longer feel safe or welcome, so sadly, I'll stop following. I'll miss him. I'll miss hearing from him every day. Well, you're still welcome here, my love. I am not pushing you away. I'm sorry that you no longer feel safe. But try going to war and see how safe you feel there. There are other things in this world that you can genuinely not feel safe from. So, can Zack see the comments from X? Yes. Hi, Amy Shepard. I can see the comments from X. How do the comments look on X, by the way? Sorry, we're still new to streaming on X, so I don't even know what it looks like on X. How do we see comments on X? Wow, we have 653 people watching on X right now. I look cute on X. Wow. Sorry, it's mirrored for me on my side of the camera, so I can't always see what it looks like, but I'm like, ooh, I look cute. Hi, 653 people streaming this on X right now. Snap, snap, pat the puss. How do you do comments on X, though? Iris says, glad you're finding your peeps in LA. I guess there's a live chat. Let me see if I can pull up. Ooh. Okay. How do I do this? How do I see the people on? Oh. Amy Shepard said, yay. Hi, Amy. Okay, now I can see, but I can only see from when I join. Well, that's not fun. I want to be able to, well, the rest of them do come up here on StreamYard, so I do see them all. Look there's me. Hi, Amy. Holly says, I couldn't figure out the chat on X. So if you're live streaming this on X, because now we live stream on YouTube and on X, if you click on the video, then on the right, there is a live chat tab that you can join into. You have to actually click the video, like the thingy, the title, Taylor Swift, Baldoni arrest update. You have to click that. And yeah. Look, see, Kenny's here. Kenny says, I found it. I have you on both. That's right. Snap, snap, pat the puss. Yeah. Michelle says, I personally never feel that Zack is going to attack me through the screen, even when I'm a coconut. Hashtag Mark safe from Zack. Well, I think it's better to be Mark safe from Blake Lively. Oh my God, someone doesn't feel safe here or with Zack. That's reaching a bit, I think. I mean, listen, she don't feel safe. So, get a helmet. Enrique says, Zack, is that plant behind you real? Do you think it's real? Does it look real? Huh? Enrique. No, it's not real. It's fake. And actually, I got it on Wayfair because Wayfair is one of my sponsors. But they're not a sponsor this week. But I got it from Wayfair. So, there you go. None of us are Mark safe from Blake Lively. I know. Amy says, I like the plant. I know. We're like slowly, if you watched at the beginning of this year or even next year, like, we had the wallpaper come in, and then we had the 100K plaque from YouTube come in, and then the blue lights. Did you guys even catch the blue lights back here? The little mood lighting from the back. Hit it from the back, hit it from the back. The new stand, the new mic, the plant. We're like little by little building out the studio. Velo says, no, it doesn't look real. I think I have the exact same one. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not meant to look real. It's just meant to be an aesthetic. Amanda says, you always look cute, Zach. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Come again. Is Wayfair the same Wayfair with Baldoni? I'm not from the States. No. Wayfair, Wayfair, is like a home goods company online. And then Wayfarer, Wayfarer, spelled differently, is Baldoni's company. So there's Wayfarer, and then there's Wayfair. Similar, but different. Ashka says, I love your setup. It's kind of minimalist look, but definitely love the blue mood light. Yeah, it's not, I don't like to be a maximalist. I do like a little bit of minimalism, It's not a podcast without a fake plan. Exactly. Thank you. Someone that gets it. Oh, did anyone see the Dawson's Creek reunion? I'm so here for Katie Holmes and Joshua Jackson to date in real life. They are so cute together. It was so sad to see James Vanderbeek. Oh my God, he looks so ill. And it was so sad that he couldn't make it, which tells me he's in his final days. If he's that gaunt and just looks that sunken in, and like, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. My heart. It breaks my heart. So yeah, the reunion was heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. Okay, guys, I love you. I appreciate you. Joy says, Zach, you need to come on my new show that I'm starting. I am a friend of BB show, been on twice, of BB. In the gay community, BB means bareback, which means raw dog in it. So if you want me to raw dog it on your show, you're gonna have to pay me a lot more money than nothing. All right, hit the like button, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Please continue to subscribe and support the show, and leave a comment, leave a review, do all the things. I love you. I appreciate you. You can you can follow me at Just Plain Zach, or follow the podcast at No Filter with Zach on Instagram. Have a great rest of your day, guys. I will talk to you tomorrow on Friday. Ciao for now. Bye.